Hello everyone, my name is Hannah Graw. My big problem is with the racism that occurs in equine sports. Today it is highly unlikely that you will find a person of color while competing, especially in the United States. I believe that constructivism could be applied to a specific group of people within the microsystem, the other competitors. In other words, the white competitors at horse shows. Constructivism is a difficult concept to apply to real-world problems as the only solution, because at its core, constructivism is about how one understands and evaluates the world based on their own experiences. Constructivism states that the learner actively interacts and evaluates their environment themselves, and with this knowledge, the learner is able to work with future problems that may not have a concrete form or definite solution. This kind of higher thinking is what individuals who discover new things must have. I believe that constructivism by itself, as Research Jonasson said, is meant for those who are already on the expert stage of learning. Because of this, I believe that there will need to be a slight bit of instructor help, but just enough to get the thought process moving for learners. In Module 4, I discussed a solution that actively taught instructors about the racism in equine sports, and how the declining world of horseback riding is being hurt by this closed-mindedness. My previous solution taught instructors through brochures and simulations, and urged them to teach their own learners about the importance of open-mindedness and acceptance. Using cognitive constructivism, instructors could test their learners by asking them to identify what they thought made up an equestrian, or what all horseback riders have in common. A lot of riders will be young at shows, the riders will have a horse, some children may even recognize shirt and pant colors or hair color, but they may not recognize race itself. They may need guidance from an instructor, but they could be asked to compare individuals from school or from their town to those who are at shows, to help them understand what they are looking for without actively telling them what they're looking for. They will begin to identify how there are little to no people of color at their shows, which the instructor can use as a learning opportunity to teach the learners about racism and why they should accept anyone at horse shows, regardless of physical factors, to create a more inclusive and widespread sport. I am hoping that this will create a more open-minded set of future riders and instructors, which will leave a space for people of color to join the sport and not be discriminated against. Constructivism was such a difficult point of view for me to use for learning on a more simple level, but I am hoping that this solution makes sense to some people. I'm looking for ways to refine the idea or even the wording of the idea, so any thoughts at all would be incredibly helpful. Thank you guys so much.